What if I told you that the hardest moments in your life, those very struggles you try to avoid, are the ones that can make you stronger? The moments that break you down might actually be the moments that build you up. But here's the catch. You have to learn how to embrace them. In today's world, we're constantly told to avoid pain, to seek comfort, and to minimize discomfort. We want things to be easy. But have you ever stopped to think, what happens if we remove all the obstacles, the challenges, and the discomforts from our lives? What if, in our attempt to make life easier, we're actually stripping away the very things that can make us strong? The Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, understood something that most of us don't, that true strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them head-on, from using adversity as a training ground for your mind and spirit. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Think about it. When you face a difficult situation, whether it's a tough project at work, a personal struggle, or a major life change, do you avoid it or do you rise to meet it? The Stoics didn't just endure hardship, they welcomed it. They understood that every challenge was an opportunity for growth. When you're faced with a tough situation, you have two choices. You can avoid it, run from it, and wait for things to get better, or you can face it head-on, knowing that in doing so, you're developing the resilience, the patience, and the strength you need to handle whatever comes next. Take a moment to think about a difficult time in your life, a setback, a failure, or a challenge. How did you react? Did you avoid it, or did you face it? Now, imagine if you hadn't faced that challenge. Would you be the person you are today with the strength and wisdom you've gained? Or would you be weaker, less capable of dealing with life's inevitable struggles? So, let's ask ourselves, are we avoiding the struggles in our lives, or are we using them as a chance to grow stronger? Remember, what stands in the way becomes the way. The path to becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient starts with how you respond to adversity. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how to train your mind to embrace hardship, not as something to fear, but as something to welcome. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll explore how you can apply this Stoic mindset to your everyday life and turn every obstacle into a stepping stone for growth. If you really want to change, you have to understand the power of adversity. The Stoics knew that avoiding hardship wasn't the answer. They believed that the ability to endure suffering, not just survive it, was the key to becoming stronger. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, taught that it's not the event itself that harms us, but our perception of it. The obstacles you face, the struggles you try to avoid, they aren't the enemy. The real enemy is your own mindset, the way you interpret these struggles. What if, instead of running away from pain or hardship, you viewed them as the tools for building resilience? Think about how we view pain in the modern world. We treat it as something to get rid of as quickly as possible. We take a pill, we avoid discomfort, we look for the easy way out. But what if instead, we treated every challenge as a chance to get better? What if we saw adversity not as a punishment, but as an opportunity to grow, like a muscle being stretched under tension? Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, spent years dealing with wars, betrayals, and personal loss. Yet he wrote in his meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He didn't just survive these challenges, he used them. And that's the Stoic way, not to be defeated by life's difficulties, but to embrace them as opportunities to grow. Now, let's take a step back. When you think about your own life, what obstacles have you faced? And how did you respond? Did you let those challenges stop you? Or did you find a way to move forward even when the odds seemed stacked against you? Here's the key. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to build mental and emotional strength. The Stoics didn't believe in avoiding hardship. They believed in preparing for it, accepting it, and learning from it. So when life throws a curveball, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger?" In the next part, we're going to explore how the Stoics trained their mind to stay calm and focused during moments of chaos. Because real strength isn't just about surviving life's difficulties, it's about responding with purpose and clarity. When we're faced with chaos, confusion, or extreme stress, the natural human instinct is to react. We panic, we lash out, we freeze. But the Stoics taught us something powerful. Your response to adversity is where your true strength lies. The question is, can you train your mind to stay calm in the face of chaos? Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about that for a moment. The Stoic mindset isn't about avoiding life's challenges. It's about mastering your response to them. In other words, you don't control the events, but you control how you meet them. That's where your power lies. The Stoics trained their mind for this very purpose, to remain steady under pressure, to take a pause before reacting. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself daily, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. What he was saying is that we are often our own worst enemies, creating unnecessary suffering through our negative or impulsive reactions. But here's the thing, while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control the space between stimulus and response. This is a key Stoic principle. When something triggers you, your first response might be anger, fear, or frustration. But instead of letting those emotions dictate your actions, take a moment to pause, to reflect, and to choose a better response. Let's look at a real-life scenario. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your immediate reaction might be frustration or anxiety. But what if, instead of letting that frustration take over, you took a deep breath, focused on what's in your control, and reminded yourself that this delay doesn't define you? What if you use this moment to prepare mentally for the meeting, to center yourself, rather than letting the chaos of the situation overwhelm you? This is the Stoic approach. To train your mind to stay focused, to not let external events throw you off course. It's about mastering your emotions so that they don't control your decisions. You remain clear-headed, purposeful, and in control no matter what life throws at you. In the next part, we're going to dive deeper into how to turn every challenge into an opportunity for growth. The Stoics didn't just endure life's obstacles, they saw them as stepping stones, building blocks of wisdom and strength. Stay with me, because this is where things get really powerful. The Stoics didn't just view obstacles as things to overcome, they saw them as opportunities to grow. Every setback, every difficulty was a chance to improve, to learn, and to become a stronger, wiser version of themselves. Imagine this. You've been handed a difficult project at work, one that seems overwhelming. Instead of viewing it as a burden, the Stoic would see it as a chance to practice patience, perseverance, and problem solving. You're not just trying to finish a task, you're building your character along the way. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, famously said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." He recognized that without challenges, we would remain weak, stagnant, and untested. It's through the struggle that we develop strength. The body doesn't grow stronger without resistance, and neither does the mind. In the same way, every challenge you face in life is a form of resistance that, if you approach it with the right mindset, will strengthen you. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned, maybe a business failure, a personal loss, or an unexpected obstacle. In the moment, it may have felt like a disaster, but what lessons did it teach you? What inner strength did it draw out of you?
The Stoic way isn't about pretending that challenges don't hurt or that failure doesn't sting. It's about reframing those moments as opportunities for growth. It's about asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better? When we start to see challenges not as burdens, but as the raw material for our personal growth, everything changes. The next time you're faced with a tough situation, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? What part of me can I strengthen in the process?" By shifting our mindset in this way, we not only become more resilient, but we also turn every hardship into a stepping stone. It's the very challenges we face that shape us into the people we're meant to be. In the next part, we'll explore how the Stoics prepared for life's difficulties by practicing mental exercises. It's not enough to simply react to challenges. We need to train for them in advance. Stay with me as we dive deeper into how to make mental preparation a part of your daily routine. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy you read about or talk about. It's a practice, a daily discipline. The Stoics knew that to be prepared for the storms of life, you can't wait for them to arrive. You need to train for them in advance, just like an athlete trains for a big game. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that philosophy should be lived, not just studied. He said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." What he meant was, you don't wait until a crisis strikes to try to practice Stoicism. You make it part of your daily routine so that when life gets tough, you already have the mental tools you need to face it. One powerful Stoic exercise is the practice of negative visualization. This might sound strange at first, but stay with me. Negative visualization involves imagining the worst-case scenarios, losing your job, losing a loved one, or facing some form of failure. Why would you want to do that? The Stoics believed that by mentally preparing for hardships, you reduce the shock and pain when they actually happen. Instead of being blindsided by life's difficulties, you face them with a calm and clear mind. Marcus Aurelius also practiced a form of mental preparation by reminding himself daily that life would be filled with people who are rude, annoying, or challenging. He didn't waste energy wishing for them to behave differently. Instead, he expected them to behave as they did, and prepared himself to respond with patience and wisdom. This daily practice of mental preparation isn't about being pessimistic, it's about being realistic. It's about building mental resilience so that when tough times arrive, you're ready. Just like an athlete who spends hours training for a game, you spend your days training your mind for the inevitable struggles of life. So, what can you do today to start practicing Stoicism in your own life? Start by taking a few minutes each morning to think about potential challenges you might face during the day. Whether it's a difficult conversation, a stressful task, or unexpected interruptions, imagine how you can respond with calmness, clarity, and purpose. Visualize handling the situation with grace and strength. By making these small daily practices part of your routine, you start to develop the mental strength to weather any storm. And when life inevitably throws a curveball, you'll be ready, because you've already trained your mind for it. In the next part, we'll explore the role of self-control in Stoicism. To truly live according to Stoic principles, we need to master our desires and impulses and focus on what truly matters. Stay with me as we dive into the power of self-discipline and how it can transform your life. As we continue on our journey through Stoicism, we now come to one of the most crucial elements of this philosophy: self-discipline. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes not from the ability to do whatever we want, but from the ability to control our desires, impulses, and distractions. Epictetus endlessly said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that for a moment. Freedom, according to the Stoics, isn't about doing whatever you feel like in the moment. It's about exercising control over your own mind, your own reactions, and your own behavior. Freedom comes from not being enslaved by your impulses or emotions. In the modern world, we're constantly bombarded with distractions and temptations. Social media, entertainment, food, shopping. These things often pull us in different directions. They promise pleasure, but the Stoics would argue that these temporary pleasures ultimately rob us of our true freedom. Here's the real question: how much of your life is controlled by your desires and impulses? How often do you act out of habit, giving in to what feels good in the moment, without considering whether it aligns with your values or long-term goals? The key to Stoic self-discipline is not about fighting or rejecting every temptation. It's about recognizing when something doesn't serve your higher purpose and making a conscious decision to say no. The Stoics believed in training their minds like athletes train their bodies, building strength through consistent practice and self-restraint. To put it into action today, start small. Notice when you're acting on impulse, whether it's eating junk food, scrolling endlessly on your phone, or buying something you don't need. Instead of immediately giving in, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this action helping me become the person I want to be? Or is it simply a temporary distraction? By practicing this kind of self-discipline, you start to regain control over your mind and your life. And that control in turn becomes the foundation for the other Stoic principles we've been talking about: resilience, focus, clarity, and purpose. In the next part, we'll explore the importance of purpose in Stoicism. Once you've mastered self-discipline, you can begin to channel your energy towards a higher goal, a life of meaning, a life of service, and of virtue. Stay with me as we explore how to live a life of purpose, guided by Stoic values. Now that we've explored the importance of discipline and how to embrace challenges, we arrive at the heart of Stoicism: living a life of purpose. The Stoics didn't believe that life was just about surviving or getting by. They believed it was about living in alignment with virtue, reason, and a greater purpose. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, repeatedly reminded himself in his meditations that he was not here to merely exist, but to fulfill his role as part of the greater whole of society. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." For Marcus, purpose was found in action, in doing what was right without hesitation or distraction. The Stoics taught that purpose isn't something you find by chasing external rewards, fame, or approval. Instead, it's something that's internal, anchored in living according to your values and contributing to the greater good. It's about living with integrity, doing what is just, and remaining focused on what truly matters. Take a moment and ask yourself, what is my purpose? What is it that I want to achieve with my life? Not in terms of material gain or recognition, but in terms of the impact I want to have on the world and the legacy I want to leave behind. For the Stoics, purpose wasn't some grand, elusive idea. It was built day by day through small, consistent actions. Every time you choose to act with integrity, to show kindness, to remain disciplined, you are aligning yourself with your purpose. It's not about some distant goal. It's about making each action a reflection of who you want to become. Living with purpose also means acknowledging the impermanence of life. Epictetus taught that we shouldn't waste time or energy on things that are beyond our control, whether it's wealth, power, or other people's opinions. Instead, focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, and your intentions. By doing this, you can live in accordance with your values and leave a meaningful impact on the world. So, how do you begin living with purpose today? Start by reflecting on what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What actions can you take today that reflect those values? It's not about finding a big, grand purpose. It's about living each moment in alignment with the person you want to become.
In the final part of this series, we'll bring everything together and talk about how the Stoic way of life, with its resilience, discipline, and focus on purpose, can help you live a life of strength and fulfillment. Stay with me, because the best is yet to come. As we reach the final part of this series, we see how all the pieces of Stoic philosophy come together: resilience, self-discipline, embracing adversity, and living with purpose. They're all interconnected. The Stoic way isn't just about surviving life's challenges. It's about thriving through them, becoming the best version of yourself no matter what comes your way. We've talked a lot about how Stoics embraced challenges as opportunities, how they trained their minds to respond with clarity, and how they lived with purpose. But what makes all of this come to life is the Stoic idea of strength: mental, emotional, and moral strength. Strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you build through practice, through discipline, and through a relentless commitment to what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, faced enormous pressure, wars, and personal losses, yet he remained grounded in his Stoic principles. He didn't allow external circumstances to disturb his inner peace. He understood that his strength wasn't in his power or wealth. It was in his ability to control his mind, to remain virtuous, and to focus on his role in the greater good. That's the Stoic ideal: living in accordance with reason, facing life's difficulties with grace, and making choices that align with your deepest values. It's about having a clear sense of what's important to you and sticking to that path no matter the obstacles or distractions. But here's the beauty of Stoicism. It's not about perfection. It's not about always being strong, always being right, or always succeeding. It's about showing up each day with the intention to do your best, to live with virtue, and to grow from your experiences. The Stoic life isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them and using them as fuel for personal growth. So as you move forward, think about how you can integrate these Stoic principles into your life. How can you face challenges with resilience, practice discipline in small daily actions, and stay true to your purpose no matter the difficulties you encounter? Remember, the Stoics didn't promise a life free of pain or hardship. They promised a life of strength, clarity, and peace of mind, even in the face of adversity. The Stoic way isn't just a philosophy to admire from afar. It's a way of living that you can start today. Every decision you make, every challenge you face is an opportunity to live more stoically. So take a deep breath, stay calm, stay focused, and remember, what stands in the way becomes the way.